Information. Also brought to you by IT&E and Carrier 647 cool at 749. Let's go into the KUAM News, a Zoom room where from the Consolidated Commission on Utilities, Simon Sanchez is standing by. Good morning, Simon.
Buenos, Chris, and buenos, Bree. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy early Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And
it's been a tough year, but despite that, we have much to be thankful for with friends and family and your show. You know, I find the Zoom show before you go on the air better than as good as the Zoom show when you're actually on the air.
Yeah, it's a little. You'd think this is unfiltered. Yeah, wait till you get the behind the scenes. Sometimes people will text me in the Zoomer. They're like, "Hey, you know, we can hear you." Like, yeah, okay, spread the word. That's how we test That's how we test who the leaks are, Simon.
Well, we don't always do what Chris and Bree ask us to do, but when malfunction says don't raise the power bill, we got to work really hard to make sure that happens.
I was just going to say, we're thankful for that.
Good news.
Yeah, go ahead.
News to be thankful for.
So how are we able to thwart this increase in the LEAC?
Well, your power company, and remember, GPA is owned by all of us. You know, sometimes we talk about GPA like it's some third party. It's us. And, you know, we learned when I joined the CCU 20 years ago, you know, remember Pong San Hua? You know, we haven't had a typhoon. God forbid we don't have another one. When we got in there, we had no money. We had more toilet paper than bucket trucks, and we had no inventory. And so we said, we got to put money away for a rainy day fund, basically. And over 10 years, we built up a self-insurance fund because insurance doesn't cover, you know, you have deductibles and insurance doesn't cover your transmission and distribution, all the power poles. So we said, we better put some money away. And over 10 years, we put $20 million away into a self-insurance fund that is restricted and can only be used in emergencies. Well, Typhoon COVID has created an emergency. And last Thursday, when John did the numbers, and, you know, oil today reached its highest price since March. So we know oil prices are going up, not good for gas station prices. We knew that prices are going to go up. And we've held the LEAC, we held it for almost 3 years, and then we reduced it. And the current rate of 8.6 cents a kilowatt hour is the lowest since I've been on the CCU, which is a long time before Bree was born. And so we said, how do we, and we've already advanced 15 million. You know, the Guam Power Authority today is much stronger financially. We already advanced 15 million on behalf of our ratepayers, our owners, to keep that rate fixed. Well, with oil prices rising in the current rate, we predict we're going to be short another 15 million. And you know, we put some pennies away, but 30 million is hard to make up. We don't want to be in a position where we can't buy oil next summer. Yeah. And so we had to either raise rates or find other creative ways. And one of the things we decided was, let's go to the PUC and look at that self-insurance fund. It's got 20 million in it. Let's take half of it, you know, just in case Typhoon Chris shows up the day after this is approved. Let's take half of that 20 million and let's reduce our $25 million capital improvement spending next year by another 5 million. That 10 million plus the 5 million will offset the projected increase in oil that we expect next February through next August. If you remember, the LEAC is adjusted February 1 and August 1. And so let's say take that 15 million, the 10 plus the 5, and offset what we think will be higher oil prices next year. And by doing that, we can hold the rate at its current 8.6 cents a kilowatt hour. So that's what we decided to do. John B. and his team worked on it. We can do it. So now we will send a petition to the Public Utilities Commission not to raise the LEAC and to have the permission to use half of our self-insurance fund to help our people when they need it most. I mean, it's been a very difficult year for COVID, and next year could be even more difficult. We know federal money's running out, and you know, things aren't going to come back right away. Mm-hmm. So our ratepayers need the help now. And it's why we've held the rates before. Now we figured out another way to hold the rate for next year. This would, if approved by the PUC, the rate will be held till next July 31st, 2021. You know, almost another year, another 10 months. So that's our decision that we will send to the PUC. And we can delay CIPs for another year. The world's not going to end. GPA is a going concern. Your power company is always going to be around. So we delay a few projects. You know, you do that at your own home. You don't have money. You don't paint the house this year. So we're going to delay that. And we're going to dip into that self-insurance fund. If this isn't an emergency, I don't know what else would constitute an emergency. So that was the recommendation. That's our decision last night. It was unanimous. And now we send that to the PUC, asking them not to raise the LEAC. Let us use the self-insurance fund to offset the proposed rate increase.
I wonder if you guys' ears were burning, because I know a lot of people, all they saw was a power bill increase, and they were talking. There's a lot of talking going on.
Well, I mean, we're ratepayers too. You know, nobody likes to pay higher power bills, and what we're happy about and proud of is we've rebuilt the company from when we walked in, and you used to play load shedding blues when you had much darker hair, Chris, and we don't play that. We don't play that song anymore, right? And we've really had to rebuild the company. And when we walked in January of 2003, we had no money, we had no inventory. Well, now we have inventory. And now we have 20 million. So we'll take 10 of that 20 million, because, you know, you never know when the good Lord's going to send us, you know what, and we don't want that. So we still have reserves. We've put it away. We built it up over time so we don't have to raise rates dramatically. You know, the base rate, which is the non-fuel charge, we haven't raised that since 2013. That's 7 years without having. I know KUAM's advertising rates have gone up in the last 7 years, but you know, and that's to the credit of the management team at GPA to hold prices, even though our insurance costs go up, our health insurance costs, our retirement costs for our employees go up. We've been managed to hold that fixed for 7 years now. We don't see any reason to increase it in the near term. It's just oil, and oil set a new price record for this year today, so it's going up. And we think we can mitigate that by using money we've set aside, a true rainy day fund, the self-insurance fund, and cut back on some spending to help our ratepayers when they need it.
What if the PUC comes back and they say no?
Well, as Chris, more than their ears might be burning after that meeting. I mean, it's up to them. We've given them an alternative that we are comfortable with, that we are financially able to withstand for another year, because we are financially stronger. And we hope they will agree that at this time, with all the challenges facing our community, that it's the right decision for the right reasons. And we hope they'll approve it. We send it to them now. They don't make the decision until January, and whatever their decision is takes effect February 1. And we hope they see it the way we do. But, you know, they're independent. They're not even elected like we are. And we leave it to them. But, you know, we've worked with them for many, many years. I used to be on the PUC. You know, I was figuring out, I've been involved with either the PUC or CCU for 26 years, almost 40% of my life and 60% of my professional life. So I've been in this process for a long, long time. And John B. and I were talking about, hey, what about the self-insurance fund? We were looking at other tricks that we can think of. And we both agreed, cut spending, use that reserve for what it's intended for, and yet not take everything out of it in case Typhoon Chris shows up the day after the PUC okays it. And so that we can survive. We've got to keep the lights on for our people. We're still not disconnecting people. We're seeing that increase in receivables. You know, we have about 3,000 people that prepay their power bill. They you know, like they restock it when we tell them, hey, you're down to $50, put more money in. And that's growing. We're having people struggling even with prepay. So people are struggling. And if that federal, you know, doesn't look like much federal assistance is coming, and tourism's not coming back anytime soon. So 2021 is going to be a very challenging year for us, and everything we can do to help. And I'm just proud of the team at GPA that we've been able to run it in a way that we can keep the lights on. We can take advantage when oil prices are low, and when they go back up, we have a little cushion to work with. We took 10 years to build up that 20 million. We're going to ask ratepayers to build that 10 million back, but we're going to spread it out over 5 years. As you know, Bree, we do the LEAC every 6 months. Well, we don't want that 10 million back in 6 months. It doesn't help anybody. So we're going to spread that out over 5 years. You'll barely notice it. We used to have a surcharge on your power bill to get the 20 million. And then once we got there, we took that away. Well, it's raining again. Let's restock the rainy day fund. Let's use the self-insurance fund to help our people now, and then spread out the repayment. You know, we're still owed we've still advanced 15 million in oil costs that we haven't passed on to ratepayers. We've been carrying that for almost a year now. We didn't want it to get worse. We found a way to offset that, but eventually we'll need to replenish the self-insurance fund, but we could spread that out over a long time. We're going to have to get that 15 million we're still carrying back, but right now we're financially strong enough to hold it, absorb it, and hold on to it. And that's what we got to do on behalf of our ratepayers. You know, you own the company, and we're, as your elected board of directors, we hear you. Our ears were burning, and we're saying, let's use the money we've set aside for emergencies to help our people. And that's what we decided.
So you're feeling pretty good that the PUC will accept the proposal. And if they do, then this you said would go into effect in February?
So your current power rate would stay unchanged, and it would stay unchanged from February 1 till next July 31. So almost
Okay.
10 more months. And remember, we lowered it in February 1 of this year, and then we lowered it again in April when oil crashed, right? And that's how we got it down to 8.6 cents. And we had held it for 3 years prior to lowering it from the 11 to the 8. So we really worked hard, and we lost those 2 generators, and yet we kept the lights on, and we are managing to take advantage and manage the oil, ups and downs. And we've got the lowest LEAC rate, and now we get to hold it if the PUC agrees. I putting on my old PUC hat, I don't know why they wouldn't agree, but if they decide to reject the plan, then they're the ones that have to raise the rates. We're giving them a way not to do it.
So how do you replenish the 10 million that you're taking from the self-insurance fund?
So we're thinking that it took us 10 years to build it up to 20 million. Maybe John's proposal is to amortize that over 5 years. And it won't be for the next LEAC, but probably in future LEACs, we're probably going to have to, add, 0.2 of a penny, just to get it back. And, LEACs, you recover every 6 months. We don't want that 10 million in 6 months. We'll take it out over. It was never designed for immediate use anyway. It's a rainy day fund. It's a savings account. It's a pocket we put money in. What a concept, right? In government. And we put that money aside for exactly these reasons. If a typhoon shows up, we have bucket trucks, we have inventory, and we still have 10 million. But to protect our people and our own power company that we all own, we do need to replenish it. But we're going to spread that over 5 years. It's very small amount. We'll get it back. We got to figure out how to get the 15 million back from the current LEAC, but we'll work. We gotta help our people now.
Yeah, forget about it. We got it. We'll work it out.
I don't know about forget about it. No, we don't forget about it.
Okay, just trying.
We don't have to get it back right away, right? Because we're financially strong as your power company. Well, it's a long way from load shedding blues.
Yeah.
And Chris had dark hair, and when we walked in January of 2003, Pongsan had just hit. We had more toilet paper than bucket trucks. We had no cash, and we had no inventory. Mm-hmm. If they approve this plan, we'll still have 10 million. We have 20, 30 million in inventory. We have bucket trucks. We can handle a typhoon.
And you got toilet paper.
Let's help our people with typhoon COVID right now.
So what would you say to those, and this is kind of a little off topic, but so we had this weather the last couple of days. We saw some outages. What type of improvements, or is it just regular upkeep? Would you like to see just? And I'm not trying to rain on this parade because of course.
No, great question. Great question. I'm glad you asked it.
Because people are saying, if we get a real one, it's going to be really bad. So go ahead.
Yeah, great question. Actually, I'm glad you asked it. We're in the final stages of testing a 40 megawatt battery that cost us $40 million. We borrowed the money and put it in. It's in Talafofa, Naganya. And that battery is designed to, we're generating power now, but if one of the generators fails, all of a sudden there's a glitch and you have those 3-minute outages, those 7-minute outages. This battery will automatically step in with 40 megawatts, the size of our largest generator, and give us power for 30 minutes while we turn on other generators or get the generator that tripped off back online. And we're going to eliminate about 80% of those 3-minute glitches, those 5-minute glitches will be eliminated with this new battery. One more thing we're doing as we move to renewable energy is we're adding solar and we're adding batteries. And by early next year, they're in the testing phase now. COVID delayed us putting it online because we couldn't bring the technicians in. They'd have to be in quarantine for 14 days. We got them in. And by early next year, we'll turn that thing on, and that's going to eliminate about 80% of these small glitches. It's been in your base rate, which we haven't increased since 2013 because we've cut costs everywhere else. We've reduced our labor by 18% in the last few years. We have 350 people now. We used to have 430 people through retirement by not running our own generators. Those people were retired. We have public-private partnerships running all our solar farms and all of our generators and our new generator. So those things have helped us hold that base rate and keep it down. And so that we only have to deal with the oil piece for now. And the new generator is going to burn 1 million gallons of oil less a year. It's going to be more fuel efficient. And that new generator is going to allow us to add even more renewables. So eventually, we want to move towards that 100% renewable goal that the legislature just adopted. Senator Shelton, at our request, put in the bill and passed it. And we're going to be at 25% renewable by 2023. and we're going to be at 50% renewable by 2035. Chris should have hair still by that point. And and all of that reduces the largest expense for GPA ratepayers is oil. So the less oil you use, the lower the LEAC will be, the lower your power bill will be. And so the paradigm shift has occurred. We have 25 megs of solar. We're adding another 200 megs of solar or batteries. We have 2,300 people that make their own solar. They also produce 25 megs. So the migration to less reliance on fossil fuels, a smaller carbon footprint has already started and is well on its way. And ironically, you need this new generator to keep the lights on while we add the rest of the renewables, because as you learn, when you have rainy days like this, you're not making solar and you're not recharging the battery that you need for the solar at night. And Kauai has learned this. They can hit almost 80% renewables, but when they have rainy days, they've got to turn on a generator. And if you've ever owned a boat, you better have backup fuel, backup engine, backup power. And we're in a boat. We're in an isolated grid. We can't run an extension cord to Japan or even Saipan. Not that we would want to tie to Saipan's power system, but we can't do it. So you need reliability and redundancy, and it's a mix of renewables through solar, batteries, and a new generator that burns less oil. And in 25 years, we'll own that generator. And if we're 100% renewables in 25 years, you own the car, just don't put any gas in it. And that'll be a good thing. But if you need it, Typhoon U2 knocked out 20% of the renewables in Saipan. Typhoon Chris shows up when we're 100% renewable and knocks out 20% of the power. How are you going to back it up? That new gen that we'll already own will be there. You put some gas in it. If you don't need it, you don't put gas in it. And gas is LEAC. So, those are the pieces of the puzzle we put together, the GPA management team has put together. We've been working on it for 20 years. And we're well on our way to changing the way we make energy on Guam. And renewables is going to play a huge part of it. And it's part of what's allowing us to hold this rate at 8.6 cents a kilowatt hour. And yet we've built up finances to help our people when they need it. So, we're proud of the work our team, your team has done. Your fellow ratepayers, their power bill, they pay the power bill just like you do, but they're very dedicated professionals and committed to Guam, and they've done a great job to allow us to do this. So for that, I'm very thankful and grateful for their hard work.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
I do have one more question, but we have to cut out of our television.
Well, you might as well just
feed.
go ahead.
Yeah. So for all of our viewers on KUAM TV 8, TV 11.
Yeah, KUM TV. Thank you, guys. There's a whole lot of great programming coming up here. So you keep it here. You jump over on our KUM News Facebook feed, or the good old-fashioned way on what is called a radio, where KUM FM and Agotni, Guam. Again, it's 93.9. KUM TV land. Happy Thanksgiving. Esta. Adios.
Bye.
Go ahead, Sabrina.
I wanted to see, do you have anything over at the Guam Waterworks Authority? We shouldn't be bracing ourselves for any sort of rate increases on that end?
Well, yes, not anytime soon. So
Okay.
we put together a 5-year rate plan, and you may have noticed a slight increase in your water bill on October 1st. And the PUC approved 2 of those 5 years, but we're doing some additional studies to see if we can lower it. And we provide the results of those studies to ourselves in the PUC next spring to see if we can reduce the rate increase that's planned for next October 1. If you recall, we do 5-year rate increases. We spread it out, but that's how you have a new wastewater plant down in Agate. That's how we have safe, clean drinking water. We're going to spend almost $2 billion in rebuilding the water and wastewater system. How do you do $2 billion? You spread it out over 35 years, which is what we're doing. Lessons learned for our hospital and our education system about how to think about infrastructure investment over time. But you got to spread it out because ratepayers only have so much ability to pay. But nothing you're set on the water rates till next October, and hopefully we can mitigate it. But we still have things to fix. We got all those leaky lines to replace, and collection sewer lines we've got to replace because those are much older than Chris. And so we know Chris needs repair every now and then. Those need replacement.
I got a few leaks of my own.
Is there an update on the lawsuit in the district court regarding is it Badger meters?
No update, but
Okay.
we've sued them for $80 million. The good news is their current meters work great, And back billing looks like it's become a thing of ancient history, but we're still mad at them. We think they sold us a set of meters that they were phasing out, and they kind of got rid of inventory, and they sold it to us. And those were the ones that created the back billing issues. But we have a new meter from them that works excellent. So we're going to keep them happy on that side, but we're going to slap them on the other side. We've sued them for $80 million. And we want that money back for ratepayers. And if that comes in, that really would help us with rates and continuing to replace the things we have to replace, and keep modernizing the system without adverse impacts to our ratepayers. So we're suing them. We're in court. No update on the results. We hope we're successful.
All right. Thanks a lot, Cy, and happy Thanksgiving
happy
to
Thanksgiving.
you and the family.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours.
There's
Yes.
virtual balutan behind you, Simon. If you want to take some on your way out, it's a smorgasbord of all your Thanksgiving favorites. Yeah. Okay. It's a different kind of board meeting.
I made banana pancakes this morning, so
leave some for us, and we'll do a swap.
Well, actually,
I'll drop it off.
Actually, Simon, Chris made his special chamorro stuffing, the one with the olives?
That's all you got to know. The best kind of stuffing.
Pimentos.
Chamorro
pimentos.
stuffing.
All right. Well, I'll trade you banana pancakes for some stuffing. I'll be right up.
Okay.
All right.
See you, Simon. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Take care. Happy
Esta. Okay. 8:10 here on the link.